As telecommunications providers transition towards software-defined networking, we're noticing a parallel trend where more service providers are adopting solutions based on open and disaggregated components. To learn more about this tendency, I'm now joined by Robert Soukup, Product Line Manager for Connect Modular Broadband at Radisys. So, Robert, what does Radisys contribute as drivers to this trend?
Well, hello everybody. Thanks for having me. Yeah, there is a trend. I agree to that. But this trend is just really in its infancy. We are seeing a lot of interest in this. SDN is not around since yesterday. Yeah, it is around for a couple of years. But I would not go so far and see that we see a lot of adoption yet. I think what we do as Radisys, and we fill a missing link in between. Yeah, we have on one hand this brilliant solutions. Yeah, there is a solution for white box hardware. There is solution for NOS. There is solution for edge compute. Yeah, you have all those little silos. Don't get me wrong, but Radisys is the one who's putting it together and bringing along end-to-end automation and control along across all those islands. I think this is the benefit that we achieve with our CMB, Connect Modular Broadband solution. This is the key benefit. Second is operators would love to, have this one hand to shake. It's a very traditional industry. People prefer not to talk to many guys. We are the one hand to shake. We assume responsibility instead of the operator having to talk to all these smaller companies, those innovative companies. We are basically putting an umbrella on top of that with our solution. And last is, I think we are a strong company with our mother Geo Platforms, this multi-billion-dollar company in the background. I think we are a serious player to support this trend. But again, we are just at the starting of this.
I'm aware that Radisys specializes in open telecom solutions. How do you counter these operator scenarios?
Well, as I tried to answer already with the first question, we are trying to help them to cross the bridge to adopt those solutions. I think that is the most important thing here. Again, these solutions are out there. I myself, with the team at the service provider previously, we used to work on this for the last 6-7 years, and there's many other similar initiatives at service providers. So we can take the service provider by the hand and guide them through this jungle of new SDN solutions that provide, a lot of benefits, and they come along with a lot of benefits. But you need to make it happen. And we see a lot of solutions out there that focus on technical islands, some only on, say, access, some only on the service termination. But we can provide an end-to-end solution that includes also use cases for mobile, like mobile backhaul and so on, and transport. So we can actually, again, make it happen with our software.
And can you tell us a bit about what Connect Modular Broadband offers?
I think the key that we get as feedback from potential customers is always that we provide an end-to-end automation. We see the challenges, at least in Europe and North America. There are most of the customers we currently talk to, that they have problems finding the right workforce, the right skill. Telcos competing with IT companies in terms of skill. So we provide to them an automation that leaves most of the previously manual jobs, like provisioning, like lifecycle, can delegate this to the CMB software and make this automatedly work. I think this is benefit number one. So not just only for day one when we commission new hardware, but it's also really for day two operations when we have the assurance use cases and when we want to expand the network with capacity extensions, for instance. Second is really the service control. As I alluded to in the first question, we have implemented a two-stage session setup that allows to detach the actual service termination from the service initiation. That makes the solution much more flexible because you can introduce now new hardware, new vendors for special tasks. So we really live disaggregation. And another benefit I would say is really, we work with any partner. So if somebody says, well, I love this particular hardware and, it has exactly the port sizes that I would need to solve my use cases, or I have this special edge compute solution, can you help me to make it work with your end-to-end solution in an automated and controlled fashion? We are happy to engage with customers.
And what are some of the benefits of Connect Modular Broadband?
The main thing I would want to mention in this context is the changeability. I mentioned I used to work for myself for a service provider, and whenever we, and I think it holds true for every service provider, whenever we want to introduce a new network, we had it in the life for 10, 12, potentially even 15 years. And then in parallel, we put already smart people on it working on the next generation. And then we put in a lot of effort to migrate from the older generation to the later generation. And it was really, finance people were scratching their heads because there was so much effort, especially OPEX, that went into the migration efforts. We want to, and we have a solution where you can actually evolve with your demand. Yeah, you can evolve with your capacity demand. But tomorrow, if there is a chipset vendor that brings along the latest and greatest, a new chip that is better in terms of power consumption, has higher capacity, whatnot. If there's a box around, we can help you very easily to make this box work into the network. There's only a couple of APIs that need to be changed, but the underlying paradigms stay the same. So we have decoupled the lifecycle of the software from the hardware. That is, I think, the key benefit. And as I also mentioned before, the automation. Let me reiterate this here. Automation is the key. We do not automate just in one domain. Not just say in the access domain, not just in the BNG or in the core domain. We have an end-to-end orchestration that automates all the domains across. That doesn't distinguish anymore between the three domains. I think this is also a benefit where I don't see a parallel solution in the market right now. And of course, when we kicked this initiative off a couple of years ago, we started with the paradigm we do not want to have vendor lock-in ever again. And this is exactly what we propose with the CMB solution. If there is a new say BNG NOS or IP core NOS around, if you want to have a new hardware as mentioned before, if you want to have a different edge cloud, whatnot, this change can be made, and we are absolutely flexible to work with any partner. Again, we are the one hand to shake. We come along as the one-stop shop for your problems, but we are also happy to work together with you what will be the best solution for the service provider and their particular needs. The last thing, that is also some feedback which we receive during the recent months, especially. Our software is made in Europe. It's made in Europe and India. It's programmed there. We work with hardware that is made in Taiwan, Vietnam, or India as well. We work with open source software, and that where the source code is visible. That is, I think, another key benefit. And we have implemented chips which are made in Taiwan or the US as well. So you might want to derive yourself whether this is also beneficial for you or not. At least this is the feedback we receive every now and then.
And finally, who do you think would be a good candidate for Connect Modular Broadband, and can it be implemented in brownfield scenarios?
Yeah, good question. We are working. Our lead customer is a tier one. Yeah, the leading European tier one, based out of here, out of Germany, and there have been even other sources. So where the name is mentioned, this is our lead customer. So it works for tier ones. Am I keen on the tier ones? Yes, of course. They promise a lot of revenue, but we also see a lot of interest from tier twos or tier threes, companies who have a very specific and limited use case. That is also very interesting. We have a couple of leads now worldwide, mainly in Europe, but also in the US and in the Australia, New Zealand area, where tier twos actually approach us, and their use cases are good to implement, mostly work out of the box. So if you are a tier two, we are happy to help you. Of course, we are the new kid on the block. In terms of features, we will still work on those, but if somebody is in the business for 20 years, of course, some of the features, being relevant or not, are still implemented or already implemented. And with the tier twos, this seems to be easier. But again, we can also work with a tier one, as we have proven. And on your second question, can we also work in the brownfield scenario? Yes, of course. I mean, we don't want anybody to say, well, shut down your business, build it up from scratch, and then we can also fit into your solution. No, of course, we are prepared, working together with existing scenarios with brownfield. Yeah, our solution, and let me go to one benefit, works with standardized interfaces. We are a proud member of the BBF, of ONF. We have contributed to TIP and other open source and open fora. Yeah, so as long as these solutions are standard-based that are implemented, we are happy to work in brownfield scenarios. I think this is very important to stress. If you have a bespoke solution, which hopefully nobody has, of course, then it's getting difficult, but I would say never, right?
Well, Robert, it was great speaking with you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.